everyone. This is Nitha Ramachandra from the NR Media, the NR Hour Sports Show. Happy Wednesday, back with another special episode live on the show. So fans, everybody knows about our speaker app on my phone where you guys can put the questions in as usual for every guest we have on the show. And also, we are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify right now. So please, fans, tune on all those three platforms. We are on all podcast platforms. And before we get to today's guest, happy Wednesday. And also, I hope everyone's having a great week. Can't believe it's almost March already, heading into this spring, and spring sports is starting, and a lot of things happening now around the sports world. But this is the best time of year of football because it's the NFL Combine, and I have a great guest, right timing for today. And without further ado, his name is Chase Baker. He's a former NFL defensive tackle. He played for Boise State University. He played for the Minnesota Vikings. What an interesting story. He actually was undrafted in 2012, and the Minnesota Vikings signed him. And he had a short career, but he was an impactful player on the field, off the field. But what a great person. And now after his playing career, he's still in football. He's a big time coach out of the UK. So if you notice the time difference, it's 7 p.m. there. It's 2 o'clock here. So, but I just want to thank you for joining. And he coaches the Barcelona Dragons right now, and used to coach in the Frank controlled. You don't. He used to coach.
Yeah, hold on. No, so obviously he spent some time with the Barcelona Dragons for the last 2 years over there. But no, now I'm with the NFL Academy over here in the UK.
Yeah, NFL Academy, and he also coached the Fan Control Football League, which is interesting. So Chase, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. And obviously, I looked at your story, and the NFL Academy looks great, especially for the youth and the kids. It's all about the youth. But how are you and your family doing? And welcome to the family. And by the way, thank you for sharing our interview with Tyrone Crawford. And I know you guys are best buddies. So.
Yeah, that's my guy. No, thank you, Nitham. I appreciate you putting this together. Happy to jump on with you, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem. And before we get to your playing career, just talk about what's it like now, after your playing career, being a coach, and especially in a different state, being out of the States. But let's talk about what's it like just helping the youth now and making sure they get to where they want to be. And what's that been like for you?
Yeah, no, obviously coaching's cool because I think you get to bring a little bit of all the coaches that that have invested in you. So as I kind of move into this coaching stuff, all the great coaches I've had, the Chris Petersons, the Kwiatkowskis, Coach Daly, all the coaches I've had over my career, I get to, the things that really help me excel both on and off the field. I get to help, give that back to the youth. And now being over here in Europe, where they don't have the same quality coaches, where the game's still upcoming, I think it's really cool to be out here and to be able to give back what I was given.
Yeah, so tell our fans how did Chase Baker get into football, and who did you have any like role models growing up while growing up in the NFL, or?
Man, so I'm from Northern California. So my whole family were 49ers fans. The first jersey I had was a Jerry Rice jersey.
Oh wow!
And then as I got a little older, I wanted to be different, so I rocked with the Chargers for a couple of, for the rest of my youth. But I just always doing something athletic, always outside playing games, and backyard football, and then didn't really start playing till high school. And once I got into high school, it really took off. I was at Rockland High, just above Sacramento. And really enjoyed my time out there, and quickly realized I could do something cool with the sport.
Wow. Yeah. So did you while growing up, did you play multiple sports before choosing football? And what was that like? Because now in this generation, you see kids play multiple sports.
Yeah. So early on, it was basketball. So basketball throughout middle school, and even a little younger, and then football as much as I could, but I didn't get really a team setting until high school. And then in high school, I also played rugby. Loved rugby. Got a chance to come over here to Europe and play. Um, and then I won't even say track. I joined the track team, but my after my junior year of football, I tore my ACL, so I didn't play that junior year track. And then I tore it again my senior year, so my whole senior year I was out. So yeah, basketball, football, rugby, those are my main sports.
Wow. We already have a fan question for you on my phone.
Let's go.
One of our fans wants to know, what was it like growing up with the 49ers in the gold rush times?
Yeah, man. No, so I remember they'd won a couple of their Super Bowls earlier. And so I remember early 90s of rooting them on and Green Bay became the rival. And so later on, I went to the Vikings, and so Green Bay again stayed the rival. But yeah, no, that was a fun period of time with Bryant Owens early in his career. Yeah, I still have love for the 49ers. Also got a chance to go do an internship with the 49ers in scouting. So there's still love for the 49ers for sure.
Yeah, so you brought up Jerry Rice. This is I saw your Instagram and part of your academy. There's a video of Jerry Rice in that with the cat helping out with the academy or something. So talk about that. Talk about that situation. How did that come about? And what was it like just to be connected with Jerry Rice?
I'm not connected with Jerry
Uh,
Rice at all. I'd love to be, but no. So obviously with the NFL Academy, we're like the NFL's little brother.
yeah.
So we get a lot. There's just a lot of that connection, and so anytime those legends want to come in, we've had some amazing people. So he was here right before I got here, but just that NFL family, they're coming through. They're helping these international kids. And so there's just a lot of people that want to be here and are willing to, donate their time and their knowledge. So it's really cool the NFL brotherhood that comes together to help these guys internationally.
So talk about your high school career and what did you learn in high school and from your high school coaches and what was the biggest key of in your high school career that helped you get into the college and then the NFL?
Yeah, so obviously at Rockland High School, I had some great coaches there, Jason Adams, Benzel, my D-line coach. So I had some great coaches when I first started. And so in terms of what helped me overall is like I said, man, my junior year, I tore my ACL, and I quickly had to decide, if I was going to let that slow me down or if I was going to just plow through it. So I think in my high school years of learning how to overcome that adversity, learn to deal with injuries, get through injuries, go through that rehab process, because it was a frequent theme throughout my career, right? Whether it was Rockland, Boise, the NFL. I was kind of a injury riddled career, but I learned early how to deal with it, how to fight through it, and how to press through.
We have another fan question for you. What they want to know who was the toughest who was the toughest offense to go against in your career?
Toughest offense. Oh man, I think the most nerve wracking that we got ready for. Well, Nevada was supposed, or excuse me, not Nevada, but Oregon. We had to play Oregon a couple times, but we ended up, doing pretty well in those games. But in terms of the toughest, I think our Virginia Tech game, we had a really good game through about three quarters, but at the end, Tyrod Taylor, with his
Oh
legs
yeah,
and his
yeah.
ability, yeah. So he came out and he made things really difficult, and he took that game down to the stretch. And I think his versatility, and there were some big old linemen on that team. In college, I'd say that Virginia Tech team was the offense that gave us some trouble there. And then I mean, you got to go back to that Nevada game and Colin Kaepernick giving us a run for his money as well. But yeah, I think if I'm looking at college, I'd say Virginia Tech was a tough one for us.
Yeah, so whoever doesn't know about you, whoever didn't know about you throughout your career, talk about what did you bring to the game, and like I said, you brought your what do you call energetic player, but talk about what did you bring to the game, and what was your style when it came to the defensive tackle position when you were playing.
Yeah, no. So I was a very mild mannered. I'm still, pretty quiet. But football allows regardless of your personality, you get to bring out some of those, the emotions. You get to play with that viciousness. I love the violence of the game. But me personally, I think I love the technical aspects of the game. I love learning how to get foot and hand placement perfectly. And I think that served me really well, right, throughout my career. And as I got a chance to go to the NFL, undersized, not the biggest, not the fastest or strongest, but my ability to play the position and play it really well and soundly with good fundamentals, that helped me continue to play probably longer than I should have. So
Hmm.
I think that's kind of what I brought was a guy who was technically sound, always did his job, wasn't flashy, and I enjoyed just grinding out that nose position, taking on the doubles, whatever I was needed to do. I was there for it.
Wow. No, we have another fan question for you. They want to know, since it's NFL Combine this week. They want to know what is some of your memorable Combine moments before the NFL.
Yeah, so I didn't get to go to the
Oh,
combine, man. So me and Tyrone trained together. We had the same agent, and so we got to go through that process. I got to watch him and cheer him on. And then I did actually I did do so back then they still have the NFL regional combine. So
yeah.
they go through the regional, and I didn't have. I went to the super regional in Detroit, and yeah, I guess that would have been 2012, 2011. Whenever my senior what year was that? It's been a while, but yeah. So got to compete in the regional combines. I thought that was really cool. Um, I just never tested well, other than, I had a decent vertical. I had a good pro agility. When it came to the 40, my little legs, good for start, tough finish. But yeah, man, I never tested well. I knew how to play the game, and that's kind of what saved me is what I put on film.
Wow. Yeah, so tell our fans about your recruitment process in high school. How many teams were interested in you, and what did you like about Boise State? What drew you to Boise State, and what was the final draw before you signed the commitment paper?
Yeah, so going through, I had a really good junior year, and my recruitment picked up, and I had a lot of teams interested. And Cal Berkeley was kind of my dream school. That's where I wanted to go. I went through a visit out there. I thought I was going to be locked in, but again, the injury thing came into play. So tore my ACL. Go before my senior year, never played my senior year. So I didn't get that offer from them. My offers were from like Sac State, San Jose, Boise State. And honestly, it came down to the loyalty that Boise showed. I got the letter from Cal saying, "Hey, we can offer you a preferred walk on. You've been injured for 2 years. We can't take that risk." But Boise, they didn't flinch, and so they had offered. They stuck with their offer. And at the end of the day, I appreciated their loyalty, and so I rocked with Boise and it never looked back.
Yeah, speaking of injuries, you brought up earlier, and how tough is it for you just to deal with these injuries? And if you were not injured most of the time, would you be still playing? But just take us through the like, how did you? I mean, you dealt with the injuries obviously, but how tough was it for you to just to have the injuries?
I, I don't know, man. I think it was just I was so used to it. Every year, something was going on. A lot of knee surgeries, broken fingers before games. It felt like it was just part of my process. Honestly, it just became normal of going through rehab in the off season of getting my knee right, getting my whatever it was that was ailed me. I just had to figure out a way to get through it and make sure I was on the field during the fall. So yeah, a lot of injuries, but yeah, like I said, it's just part of the game, man. You just know the injuries are part of this game, and I was blessed to play as long as I did, and no regrets whatsoever. The body aches and hurts and all that as I get older, but again, I do it all over, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, so speaking of Boise State, you put up some big numbers. You had a great college career, and you guys were considered one of the most winning programs in college history. And you guys, it was a 50 and 3, and then you talk
And
about
three.
talk about your career. 100, you had over 100 plus tackles and over 7 sacks, and just talk about the atmosphere at Boise State and what made you to become that good player at Boise State University.
Oh man, so in terms of my time at Boise, it comes to again, and this is where I'm excited to bring this out here to Europe. But Coach K, my D-line coach, he made sure I was right. He helped me get the fundamentals of the position. And then Bronco Nation, man, they brought that energy. Love playing on the blue. And so I had an amazing experience out there. But yeah, I was just lucky with my coaches, my D coordinator. And so Coach K eventually became the D coordinator. But when I look back at Boise, the coaches we had are insane. Just the other day, I was going through and we're looking at all the old coaches we had. They're all either head coaches or they're coordinators or they're positional coaches at major programs, or some are even still at Boise. But it's really amazing that the group of guys that we had during that 4-year period to go 50-3 was awesome. It should have been let. We should shit. I don't. All three of those losses were all three of them were by 5 points, like combined total.
Oh.
So a couple more points, and we could have been 53-0. So we were really close to that. But yeah, man, the team, the culture we had, it was just something special. And so obviously love to bring some of that Boise culture, try and implement that everywhere I go. Cause yeah, looking back on it, it was just awesome, special. Coach Peterson, Coach K, can't say enough good things about that program.
We have another fan question here for you. They want to know what was your go-to meal?
I go to at Boise. Okay, so there was IOU sushi at Boise, and that was how you got a lot of your calories in. And then my last 2 years, it was a Brazilian steakhouse, Tucanos, and I used to go there probably once a week and crush a ton of steak. It probably wasn't the healthiest thing, but yeah, either sushi or a steakhouse, and I was feeling good about it. And back then we didn't have, now a lot of these programs, they provide food and you get to eat. Back then we had to figure out with the stipend money that we got, which wasn't a lot, and a lot of times it was eating junk food or whatever you could afford. So I think looking back on it, that was the one thing I could have done better was my nutrition, and obviously it would have helped probably with the injuries and all that. So I wish I could have ate better, but man, that Tucanos IOU, that was my go-to.
Oh, another fan question here. Someone wants to know some of your best moments in the NFL.
Oh man, so what's really cool is that I don't know how it always comes back to this international thing, but I got a chance to be in that game against the Steelers in 2014 out here in London. And that was a really cool experience. I didn't dress up that game, so I'm on the sideline as the kickoff goes. That whole Wembley Stadium go nuts. The beautiful stadium. I think that one was really cool. In terms of my favorite I got the chance to play in one of the games against the Lions. Reggie Bush was there. I got a chance to tackle Reggie Bush. And that was probably my favorite college player ever. And so that was really cool as well, is getting the chance to play against Reggie. Yeah, coming out here, playing in Wembley Stadium in the UK. Yeah, there were definitely some cool experiences.
Yeah, so talk about speaking of UK, talk about the growth of international, because the NFL is doing a great job of putting certain games, especially in London, Mexico, or wherever you name it. So talk about that, the growth of the NFL when it comes to international games now, and putting games in different states and different countries.
Yeah, no, man, it's really cool to see, especially, I've been out here for going on 3 years now. This year, they just announced their game in 2025 in Madrid, Spain. So I spent the last couple of years in Spain. So I'm really excited to see that game out there. I know that country, the game is just growing throughout Europe. But the NFL is doing a good job of bringing these guys in, and the football is just growing out here. That there's grassroots programs, there's professional programs, there's more American football being played in Europe than most people probably realize. And so it's just continued to grow. And with the NFL presence, it's just awesome for the growth of the game out here.
Yeah, so tell our fans about your draft experience. And obviously you got undrafted, but this Minnesota Vikings signed you to a contract. So talk about that moment waiting for your name, and when the draft ended and undrafted free agency comes, and talk about that moment when Minnesota called you and were interested.
Yeah, no, of course. So Like I said, man, so right off the bat, as with my agent, and I'm talking to some of the teams. Uh, Very early on, I kind of knew it was my name might be called in the later rounds, or I'm looking at free agency. And I think what was cool is looking at the free agent side of things is you almost get to choose. So I got a chance to just go in, study, look at each team, where their strengths were, where I might have a chance to come in and do something and contribute. And so, as I'm going through that pre-draft stuff, and we're talking to teams, I just always felt like there was a connection to the Vikings. I had a couple other offers. Once the draft ends, they don't call. That immediately the calls are coming in. The agent's dealing with things, and they're saying, this team wants to bring you in, this team, and you kind of get that choice. And I think if you do it right and you study and you pay attention to the teams, you can put yourself in a really solid situation. Sometimes better than if you were drafted as a late round guy. So, yeah, just Minnesota ended up being a great choice, and really grateful for them bringing me in and giving me that chance.
We have another fan question for you. They want to know, what was it like tackling your favorite player, Reggie Bush?
Oh man, I remember it too. Just holding up. I'm in the A gap. He's getting tackled as he comes in. I kind of just put him on the ground. I'm like, damn, that was Reggie Bush. I just tackled Reggie. So it was just quick, surreal. I'm in the game. I'm thinking I gotta stay focused, but it was like that was cool. And so nothing but love for that. Just a cool opportunity. I didn't play a ton. I think I got like 60 snaps,
Wow.
but really excited that was one of them. So again, just grateful for my time in there. Would have loved to have played longer. Again, injuries suck, but glad I got the time that I did with those teammates, with the coaches, with the organization, and yeah, had a blast.
So would you say, I'm just curious, because the atmosphere in Minnesota with the fans is unbelievable. Skull when they do the skull thing, and but
Yeah.
would you say the atmosphere? Tell us the comparison of the atmosphere when you were at Boise State and when you were playing with the Minnesota, because I think it's a little different. But just talk about the fan bases with both teams, because I feel like Boise State has a great college fan base, and Minnesota has a great NFL fan base.
No, for sure, and it's hard to compare. I'll just say that there's similarities, right? You're gonna get just the all-out crazy fans that are gonna paint their faces. Boise, Minnesota. I love the Minnesota theme. I love the Nordic theme, the Viking theme. It resonated with me, so I really enjoyed my time. The fans out there, and I loved how rowdy it got. That dome was awesome, and so never got to play in the new stadium, but I've gotten to go back and watch a couple of games out there. They do a great job with the Legends community. I'm rocking their shirt right now, but they bring the guys back. They get them into the games, and so. Yeah, just love the organization's awesome. They treat everybody awesome. And so the fans, same thing, man. Beautiful community. I love being part of it.
Hmm. We have another fan question for you. They want to know who was the funniest teammate that you played with?
The funniest teammate. If I'm looking back at college,
Mm-hmm.
I got to go Jarrell Root.
Oh,
He was just, it's hard to explain. He's just one of those guys, always a fun loving, energetic guy, but he's just one of the guys that you'd almost expect to be on TV. Everything he said was funny, um, uplifting, and super talented. And, talented on the field, great player, had the chance, played in the NFL for a little bit as well, could sing, funny, just, yeah. So I go back and I'd probably say I remember Jarrell making me laugh quite a bit.
yeah. So, what's it like now? I'm talk about being teammates with Tyron Crawford, and you guys played in the same obviously same line in Boise State, and then having the same agent. But just talk about the friendship that you guys built, and the brotherhood that you guys built together, and being able to be on the same team, and still being connected.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so I ended up staying with a bunch of Canadians. And so the first one there was Mike Atkinson, and him, Tyrone and Mike went to the same high school. And so when Mike got to Boise, we got really close. a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of And so once Tyrone got there from JUCO, we all moved in together, and I'll say some of those experiences, it was getting done with our summer workouts, getting murdered in the workouts, that we'd be driving home, we're going up to the lake, where I'm introducing them to outdoor stuff, and we're having fun outdoors. We're going shooting, we're going fishing, we're on the lake, we're on the boat, and they're just the Canadians are hilarious, man. I enjoyed them, and yeah, some of the best friends in the world.
Wow. Yeah, so talk about your experience in Minnesota. You spent 2 years there. The first time, the 2012 year, Leslie Frazier was your head coach, and what a great coach to learn from. Obviously defensive minded. He's now still coaching in the league on the defensive end. So talk about that. What did you learn from Leslie Frazier, and talk about that Minnesota Vikings defense that year, because you had Jared Allen on part of that team too.
Yeah, so I think the one thing that Minnesota's always been known for is their D-line play, right? Really cool to get out to Minnesota. Big ticket, Jared Allen. We had Everson Griffin,
Yep.
B. Robinson on the. We just had solid D linemen. So everywhere I looked, everywhere I turned, there's guys that I could absorb knowledge from, that I could watch and learn from. And then looking back on it, and I was just talking about this the other day. My D line coach there, his name Brent Daly.
Mhm.
Coach Daly has gone on and he's won 5 Super Bowls at different teams. So obviously he was doing something right. But yeah, that I can't say many bad things, man, because that was my rookie year. I was just trying to get my foot at my bearings, and trying to see, where I fit into the game and into the team. And man, I was just trying to give everything I got, but I had D linemen, a plethora of great D linemen around me, so it was cool.
Yeah, and also you guys had a great linebacker crew: Jasper Brinkley, yeah, Chad Greenway, Aaron Henderson, and also the defensive backs, Winfield, Harrison Smith. I mean, you guys were loaded that year on defense. And speaking of Jared Allen, talk about his presence, because obviously great player, great athlete, and amazing career. But to talk about, what did you learn from him, especially when you came in as an undrafted rookie?
Yeah, I learned don't turn him down when he asks you to sing and dance on a table, because they're going to take you to a goalpost, and no, man, it was just cool. Like I said, it was awesome to watch him work, to see him perform on the field. I don't think he liked rookies much, and so I had to earn my place. But no complaints, man. Those guys were awesome.
We have another fan question here for you. They want to know, what was it like going against Adrian Peterson in practice?
Going against them, if we were to touch him, we're getting in trouble. So we try and stay in our gaps, and then we let him run where he needs to be, because he was on that level of your franchise QB. You don't tackle him, you don't take him to the ground. Man, every once in a while, yeah. So it was awesome to see him work. Yeah, that my first game actually getting on the field, the very first play back, he took it for 75 yards, and it was like, this guy's the real deal. And so, yeah, no, amazing. Had an insane career. Really enjoyed him in the locker room. Down to earth, great guy. Yeah, shoot, I bet he could still play too. But yeah, no, one of the greatest to ever do it, for sure.
Yeah. And and then you now, after Leslie Frazier, you transitioned to Mike Zimmer, becoming the head coach. And Mike Zimmer now is back in the league as a defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys now. But let's talk about transitioning from Leslie Frazier to Mike Zimmer, another good coach in the league. So talk about that transition when you were playing.
Yeah, so he came in, and I think it was interesting because he was so detailed, and he wanted you to know everything. And so, my whole career, I knew the front seven, I knew what the D line did, but he kind of switched it up, and he was like, no, you got to know what the corners are going to do. You got to know where they're lining up at. And so just the way he came in and made sure that you had to know every position on the field of what they were doing. And so that kind of opened my eyes to, the whole scheme of the defense, rather than just being hyper focused on the D line and the front seven. Having to know where the safety's aligning, what his eyes are, that kind of stuff. He was just so detailed, and he made sure everybody knew their shit. Excuse me. So he knew everybody. He made sure everybody knew what they were doing if they were going to have any chance of being on the field. So
Yeah, so and also after playing for the Vikings, you went to Ottawa Red Blacks for a little bit. So talk about that experience. What was that opportunity like?
yeah, so once I finished, I had a couple again, got injured again, messed up my back that last year with Minnesota. And so once I was cut there, I went up to the Red Blacks. It's just it's different ball out there, right? And one thing I'll say is there are great players in Canada.
Mhm.
Um, most of those guys should have the ability to play at the NFL level. And so, high level ball, a few different rules. It was weird being a yard off the ball. Also, that extra couple yards, is a wider field. So as a D lineman, I hated having to run further, but just a different experience. I'll say that it was different. They had a number of my Boise teammates, so it was cool to be out there with some of my old Boise teammates. And again, just part of that journey. Enjoyed my time out there. I would have loved to stayed out there longer and played, but yeah, man, again, those injuries suck.
So we have another fan question for you. They want to know your favorite spot. They want to know your favorite go-to spot in the UK.
Favorite go-to spot in the UK.
Mhm.
I'm in this little town of Loughborough, and it's not very big. You could walk across it in 20 minutes. So I'm still trying to figure out where my go-to spot is here.
Hmm.
Because right now there's a doner kebab there. There's some good kebab. Um, yeah, I'm still figuring it out. We'll have to come back to that question when we do our next interview, because I got to figure that out still.
Yeah, that's to be continued. To be continued.
Exactly.
So would you say having coaches like Leslie Frazier and Mike Zimmer influence you in a big way to become a coach on the defensive side too, like that?
I wouldn't say those guys did. Again, honor to be able to play underneath them and have the chance to be coached by them. I'd say it comes back again to Coach K, and he was in his own very quiet, kind of a mild mannered coach as well. And I grew up thinking coaches had to be always yelling and loud and in your face and screaming at you. And that just wasn't the case. So seeing the way Coach K went about his business, that you could be a quieter guy like myself and still get your point across and still be a solid coach and help these kids get better and on and off the field. I think that was one of the things that made me realize I could do this. It wasn't my original calling. I didn't think I was going to be a coach. And I have a love for the game, so I just always ended up coming back, coaching high schools, coaching youth stuff, and then the chance to go to the FCF, fan controlled,
Mhm.
and it just continued to roll, and I just couldn't get away from it, and I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed being with the young guys, helping them where I could, and yeah, no, we continue to roll with it. We'll keep seeing where it goes.
Yeah, speaking of the fan control league, whoever doesn't know about that, tell our fans about what's that league about and what was that like for you, the getting that experience and coaching in that league too.
Yeah, so the fan controlled, it was interesting, and it was arena league, but it was fan, like the name suggests, it was fan controlled. And so we broadcast on Twitch, and on Twitch they would give the fans the ability to call the plays offensively.
Oh. Hmm.
So the fans would, the eight choices would come up, the fans would choose what they wanted, and that play would be called down onto the field. It gets called into the huddle, and the players run it, real life players playing. And obviously there's different stuff, but the players got to call those plays. Really cool concept. I was excited to be there. That startup. I love helping, bring that vision to life, and seeing what it did. It did 2 seasons, and I think they're trying to come back for a third. I don't know what the deal is. I hope they come back because the more chances for guys that are done with college to keep playing, I think that's just the better. So all these spring leagues, the FCF, they need to be around because you can't have enough football.
Yeah, so we'll take one more fan question. One of our fans wants to know, how often do you go back to Viking games?
Oh man, so I've been out here in Europe for a couple years now, so I haven't been back. But they bring in all the legends. They have a legends game every single year. So for one game, you come in, they put you up. They give you the ticket to the game. You're in a beautiful suite. They provide food. So when I was back, I try and make it back every year. But I think I've been back for 3 games.
Oh
I've
wow.
been back for 3 games over the years.
Hmm. Yeah, so talk about talk about the Barcelona Dragons. There you go. Talk about that experience, and obviously your growth as a coach is amazing. Going through each level and learning each day as a coach, and just talk about what is that like being coaching the Barcelona Dragons on the defensive line.
Yeah, so it was awesome, man. And so coming in, I'll say um you get a little bit of everything in terms of athletes that you're provided, right? It's the professional team in Spain, and so I'm getting the best D linemen there are, but it's just wild because like I said, so most of my players that I coached had never had a positional coach. So they'd never been coached how to play D line. And it really forced me to come back and again just focus on the fundamentals, the understanding the base stuff of where are my eyes, how do I get aligned, my stance, the get off is so going back to the very basics of the position and building that base before you can get into the cool stuff and the pass rush and how you're doing this. It just forced me to really focus on those key fundamentals and building from the ground up. And yeah, no, it's just awesome to see them really take to the coaching. And my first year there, there weren't high expectations, but we had some great players, and I had some great D linemen. Iago Alejandro Fernandez ended up being second, leading the league for all European players in sacks. And then Kyle Kitchens actually, he was with me at FCF, and
Hmm.
he's led the league in sacks every year. So um, but no, really enjoyed my time in the ELF with the Dragons. And yeah, just a cool part of my journey, man. I love each stop that I've had. I appreciate it. I take something from it, and hopefully I left something with them as well.
Hmm. All right, this two more things before I let you go. The first thing, I don't know if people know about this about you, but you in 2018 you graduated from Southern Methodist University with a sports management degree. So talk about that moment and experience.
Yeah, man. Decided to go back to and get my master's. SMU was the best college that accepted me. So went back. And so obviously I love learning. I'm always trying to figure out ways that I can improve and get better at things. I love the idea of that GM role to me is always intriguing of, building and putting the pieces together to make a winning team. I love the scouting side of things. I love the management side of things. And then I keep coming back to the coaching. So I don't know. I just enjoy putting all this together and being part of this process of professional sports and even non-professional sports, right? It doesn't have to be professional, but in terms of my time at SMU,
Mm.
um, I enjoyed my class. I enjoyed my students. Um, you know, it, I tell people just make sure you know what you're getting out of it. Um, because you don't always have to go that route. You don't always masters isn't the most important thing if you want to be in sports. Unless there's something specific, get your degree and just get in and start getting your experience. Become a ticket sales, start from the bottom, because even if you go get your master's, when you get into the field, you still got to start from the same spot from the bottom. So whether you have just a regular, your it's not an associate's degree, your bachelor
Mm.
or your master's, sports is just such a competitive field that everybody wants to do it, and so you got to start from the ground up, whether you have a master's or your regular degree. So you got to know what you're going there for. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. So one thing here. So tell our fans about the NFL Academy in general. How did it get started? How did it get going? And just talk about the teamwork you guys put together. Now you have a grow and the growth of it, and also helping these kids out, the youth, and become better football players on the field and off the field.
Yeah, the NFL Academy is an elite program to, we're I hate using it, but the IMG of Europe, right? We're finding the best players across Europe. We're bringing them in, and we're putting them into a full time, D1 type college environment where they're early morning workouts. They're going to class where we have, great academic advisors. We make sure they're academically eligible to go play in the U.S. So early workouts. Again, our strength conditioning team is amazing. Chris Baird and all those guys, world class, great facilities. And so workout, class, then we got practice every day. We're practicing 5 times a day. We're in we're watching film every day, and we're just trying to compress time. I just said this the other day, compressing time, trying to get their knowledge built up, trying to get their understanding of the game, because a lot of guys just haven't played much out here, and so it's still developing, it's still growing. We got some great coaches, and so yeah, we're looking, not just Europe, we're looking internationally, everywhere
Hmm.
outside of the U.S. and Canada. We just signed a guy from Japan.
Oh
We
wow.
got guys from Finland, from the UK, from Africa.
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw the Africa or the
And
NFL Africa
yep.
commercial during
Hmm.
the Super Bowl. Really touching, amazing stuff. Yeah, man, it's just cool to be kind of on this front of it's almost like exploring the rest of the world, finding the best football players. And so we've been in it, I think this is our 5th year going. And we got a new staff. So obviously props to the old staff. We just signed 10 guys out of our team, signed on with D1. It doesn't matter where they sign, but a lot of big time programs. We sent a guy went to Oklahoma, Northwestern,
Oh
Boise
wow.
State. So they're all over the country, man. And our goal is just to continue to push international players to the U.S., get them prepared to play at college level, and get them prepared to get into their programs and make an impact and be able to play right away. And so for us, that's getting on the field, that's practicing 5 times a day, that's having great coaches that know what they're doing. And I love this coaching staff. And yeah, it's just giving them an environment that mocks, imitates what they're going to get if they were to go to a solid D1 program.
Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, that commercial was really touching with OC, was it OC? You remember was in that commercial,
Yep.
and um
Oh, we'll see.
yeah. So let me know if you guys need help with the academy. We can help out also with the academy if you want.
Oh man, come on, let's go. No, there's so many things that we can continue to help the international players with, and we can continue to grow. Right now, the main thing is finding ways to take, the NFL sponsors a lot of this, and they provide the resources to be for the coaches and all this stuff. There's still a financial barrier, and so um, if people want to help and get involved, that there's definitely ways to. There's so many international players that have the ability to go play at the next level. Like that commercial says, right? The talent is spread evenly throughout the world. Opportunities not. So just finding ways to give these kids the opportunity to come here, to come to the States, whatever it is. We want them to be successful. So we're trying to help them in any way possible. Right now, I think the next part of this is removing some of those financial barriers of getting to the States, of getting into our program. And so I think that's the next step is making it easier on the kids.
All right, one final quick thing. Who do you like to watch now on the defensive side?
In terms of the
Yeah, NFL.
NFL,
Yeah, player. Yep.
oh man, so obviously you can never go wrong with Aaron Donald. I love watching Miles Garrett, his get off, the way he attacks. You got TJ, and
Mhm.
so I'm always looking at the defensive side of things. Mahomes is generational. I hope people really appreciate what they're witnessing right now, because it's not normal. It's not something that you're going to see So you just you know, it's hard to know when you're in the moment, but right now we're in a moment where you got to appreciate some of the amazing talent that's on the field. So
Hmm. Yeah. So where can our fans find you on social media?
it's Chase Baker 91, I think, on most of it. Yeah, happy to reach out and talk to anybody.
Well, there you have it. Chase Baker, former Boise State and former Minnesota Viking defensive tackle, joining the show today, and now he's coaching with the NFL Academy on the defensive line coach. Been in the UK for over 3 years now, and man, what a great story! And Chase, thank you for joining the show and telling your story to our fans, and thank you to our fans for tuning in and asking great questions as always. But keep up the great work, man. Like I said, if you need help with anything with with the academy, we can help you guys out too. And we'll stay connected. But thank you again for joining.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, no
We'll talk
problem.
soon.